Dan Larson here, and I'm at the Photobooth to do some house cleaning. We recently posted videos for Stark Suit Spider-Man, Homemade Suit Spider-Man, as well as the Vulture Build-A-Figure, and this Tuesday, August 1st, our Moon Knight, in 4 minutes or less video will go live. Beyond that, we're not going to be getting into these three lads, so I'm just going to run through these real quick here. Number one on the left, Tombstone. So this is like a lot of lines have your core characters that everyone is going to want to pick up. The two Spider-Mans from the movie and Vulture. Those are the three that pretty much everybody's going to want to have. But then you've got your deeper cuts that only certain fans are really going to want. And for everyone else, you at least, it's something that maybe you've never seen before, or a character that's never been covered. I get that. I understand that. Sometimes it's a character that I like. Sometimes it's not. I also get that it's part of the business to reuse as many parts as you can to keep the overall cost under control. I have no problem with that. It's part of being a toy collector. But Tombstone here is one of the two figures in the line that if I weren't actually trying to complete, or if I hadn't been trying to complete the Build-A-Wing set, I would have passed on him very quickly, very easily. He's not a character I'm particularly interested in. I don't find him to be a particularly compelling figure when you consider him out of context as a Spider-Man villain. Like, just, what is he? Like Beetle here, while I didn't feel like I needed a Beetle in my collection, I was very pleasantly surprised with what it is as an action figure. He's got, cool features, some really nice shiny metallic paints, the very, very satisfying range of movement. You can take his wings off. The wings attach in the back, these two shell pieces attach in the back here. You can pull the wings off if you want and close up the shell pieces. This has got a little backpack on there, like a real Beetle. However you want to handle it. The last Beetle figure was the same way. I don't really care who this character was in the comics, just purely as an action figure. He's cool. Silver armor and the red and the wings and stuff. You take those off. He looks like an Ultraman. It looks like Ultraman had a baby with a Masked Rider or something. I like that. That's what I like about action figures. I don't care that it's the Beetle. It's actually a pretty cool. Those gold eyes, they're shiny. It's nice. But it looks cool, plays cool. It doesn't even matter who or what context it's from. It's just a nice looking figure. That's usually my personal number one selling point. Tombstone, or Vampire Ivan Drago, is what he looks like. There's nothing compelling to me about this character design or just the basic figure in general. I don't like these boot toppers. I don't know what to call them. And I don't even know if they're supposed to sit that low. They did the same thing with the wrists. Are these supposed to be bands or gloves? I don't know. I used to read Web of Spider-Man way back in the day. I believe that's when he was first introduced. Back in 85, 86, somewhere like that. And I don't know. I never thought he was a villain that was going to really catch on and stick around. But here he is. I've seen some people using him as a Deathlock custom, which is perfect. And that just looks fantastic. And I really like that. But for me, one of my other complaints is he suffers from the beefcake pits. You can't put his arms all the way down under here. This inner part of his rib cage here contacts with the triceps muscles underneath, and you can't push his arms down any further. So he always has his arms out here. I like to be able to put the characters. I like to be able to put them on my shelf with their arms more relaxed at their sides. I don't like them always standing in this tough guy pose. Like Beetle, you can get his arms closer anyway. But that's what I prefer. I would sacrifice, this musculature in here to have those arms sit closer to his sides. You see it you see it all the time with He-Man figures, any of those really muscular, beefy sort of characters with jackets. Marvel Legends does a lot where you have the rubber vest part and then the arms are molded sleeves. Punisher tends to get that. Nick Fury gets that. And you can never put the arms down by the sides, and it ruins the figure for me personally. On the other end of the line here, Captain Universe or Cosmic Spider-Man, depending on which head you put on him. I'm going to leave it to you to go read the description or do the research on who that character is and why Spider-Man had the power. I'm just going to say that it wasn't a story that I was particularly interested in this figure. While a really strong base superhero body with really great articulation, this costume design, this deco doesn't really appeal to me. I've seen a lot of customizers on Instagram using it as a base, and I can see how that works great because there's nothing here to get in the way. Nothing that would need to be, cut off or modified. It's a nice clean slate to start a custom from. The metallic blue is very nice, and it does, like I said, it comes with the alternate Spider-Man head wearing the Captain Universe mask, which it always struck me as weird. He's got the power to literally change the climate patterns over a continent. He can shoot cosmic beams and take out villains without even breaking a sweat, but he still has his Spider-Man costume underneath the suit, or at the very least the mask. Like, I get it, his, face is showing, so Spider-Man's face should be showing, but shouldn't it be Peter Parker's face? Maybe they covered that in the comic at some point, I don't know. But obviously I needed the Vulture wing piece, but I also wanted the unmasked, bearded Peter Parker head that it came with. Because it's a good enough Dan Larson with a beard head, and that is a feature that appeals to me. It's not as I have it on my Mafex set here, but I didn't affix it to it or anything. It just kind of sits on there. Gravity does the work, but that's a smart looking figure right there. And you know what? While we're on this here, we never. Well, let's go ahead and hit this is Walgreens exclusive Black Panther. I never picked up the 2013 Rocket Raccoon Wave Black Panther, so I was very glad to see this one get released. Like I said, Walgreens exclusive. You all know that by now. Cape or no cape, necklace or no necklace. He's got holding hands. He's got an alternate set of claw hands, depending on what you like. Personally, I like him with the claw hands better. He's Black Panther. Spear, there's so many options. He's a great figure, very good, accurate, simple, comic-based Black Panther. I love the MCU version, but I also talk about a figure that suffers from not being able to put his arms down his side, the Black Panther movie figures like that. But I do like having a great comic version, and I don't have to worry about the secondary market prices on that Rocket Wave figure, which were just through the roof, insane. And you know what? While we're at it, while we're doing some house cleaning, let's go ahead and hit Walgreens exclusive Sue Storm. That's a perfectly natural pose she's in. Kicking off we're kicking off what looks like a full series of Fantastic Four figures exclusive to Walgreens for some reason. She's out now. Human Torch is already out in some places, also Walgreens exclusive. It's getting wider distribution with each passing day. Probably another couple of weeks before I see him in my neighborhood. And then at San Diego Comic-Con just last week, Hasbro showed off pictures of the Reed Richards figure. I'm assuming that's going to have interchangeable arms. Somebody said he comes with the Ultimate Nullifier. I read that somewhere, but I haven't seen that in the pictures. Maybe I just missed it. Maybe I was too focused on his stretchy arms and hoping that he also comes with regular arms. Sue's got an interchangeable hand here with a non-phasing left hand, even though her whole arm there is invisible, quote-unquote invisible. But I'm glad to have Reed on the way. Thing can't be far behind, and it's nice to have the whole Fantastic Four back in business. This is a wonderfully sculpted piece. Paint looks great, and while I do like this feature of her translucent invisible arm, it might have been cool if her whole arm was interchangeable, not just that one hand. Because, well, I don't have the other alternate hand here because I think I already lost it. It's probably in one of my accessory bins. Worst case scenario, it fell on the floor and I vacuumed it up and threw it out in the trash. Phasing arm not being removable, it's a minor complaint. I'm very glad to have this figure. Easily the best Sue Storm ever made. And the rest of the four are on the way. Oh, and of course she comes with Herbie for whatever that's worth. And he's got his stand and a articulated head. So that's cool. He's a fun accessory, a nod to their, past, the cartoon history. Anyway, that's it. That's it for leftovers. Thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ToyGalaxy. And check in the comments. What's the last thing you picked up? Titans Return, Black Series, SDCC, IDW, Revolution box set? Let me know. Later.